Hello. Welcome to Weed, Wine, and Weethins. My name is Toni 𝐄𝐏𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐒. I'm your host, and we're here today with Tomi and Tobi 𝐄𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐒, also known as my siblings. That's what people call you guys, right? My siblings.
Yeah.
You guys know that? Okay, good to know.
Look at my sister!
We're out here today. It's graduation weekend. We're all here. And Mom just did the whoa off camera.
I got it. I messed up my first five. I'm sorry.
We're here, gonna have a good time, good conversation as always. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're a return viewer, welcome back. We're here today to open dialogue, talk about conversation. But first, let's go through their selections. We have a Prosecco that Tobi popped before we even started.
So we're just gonna pretend that. Got it. Wow.
And wait, show them the cheese platter because you actually did a very good job.
That's a good job.
Hi.
So I
made the cheese platter.
We're gonna have to regulate the volume.
Yeah, because
there's a mic right here.
it's farthest away from her for a reason.
Are you zooming in?
No, he's not zooming in.
How are they gonna see the detail though?
It's not about the cheese, it's about the topping. Yeah, swirl this around. You're not supposed to do that with this champagne.
I know, but it just feels right.
Who's going first? Who's going first?
Oh, Tomi go first. She seems extra giddy.
Oh, Sibling Dynamics.
Ooh.
It's almost as if we're siblings.
So we weren't always friends. Fun
Not
fact.
always.
I don't know who I was friends with first.
I think you were friends with Tobi first.
I think so, but we also got in fights.
Yeah.
Because you were still at home.
Like big fights. Like picture Street Fighter, but without the superpowers. Those are the kind of fights.
But I won sometimes.
Sometimes.
He used to tickle us as like a form of torture, though. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
fun thing.
But that was before friendship. You went to college,
I did go to college.
and for some reason, then I decided to be sad.
Oh, yeah, we cried when you left, but we didn't really
I
know
feel
each
like
other.
Over the course of 12 years, I said maybe 30 things to you. But then it was also a vengeful thing.
You keep using vengeful.
I've always
just
been a
promoting your book.
vengeful tire.
Virtue and vengeance.
Children of
You just-
virtue and
you've been
vengeance. Out
throwing
December
Vengeance
3rd.
on these hoes.
December 3rd. Put that in text.
I will.
Like a banner.
I will.
And then, okay.
I'm good at that.
So, but when I was growing up, Tobi was athletic and
Tobi's still
popular.
athletic.
And I was not.
What was the quotation?
I know. Wait, what is this?
Like, was I
Because
not?
I didn't think those were like, it's like, okay, sure, if you, that's a cool thing, if
Oh,
that's what you're into.
For the rest of the day, I got you.
And Tomi was
brought him
not athletic and not
So
popular.
I decided I was going to be smart to get revenge on him.
And I got to be both athletic, popular, and smart. So
She did,
it
though.
worked out.
She's really the best of
She
both
is.
of us. She's like, if we were combined into one child, it would be this one.
And it makes sense why I was a lot to handle. Because it was basically 3 children in one body.
I didn't like her because I was her chauffeur for the first, I don't know.
I was Tomi's chauffeur too because she couldn't even.
Tomi can't
she's
drive.
so bad at driving.
She's the worst. I will not get in the car.
It is the amount of stupid accidents.
So it was my responsibility to teach her to drive. One day she did something so terrible that I said, it's done. I can't do it anymore. I can't put my life on the line. I'm out. And that was it. When you crashed my car? One day
Going to Dunkin' Donuts.
she went to Dunkin' Donuts. It's not hard. It's not a
We can even
it's not
show
a
them the street
difficult-
view. Yeah, it's just an
maybe
easy
we can show
parking
you.
lot.
We can bring it up, but it's not a difficult parking lot. But somehow she smashed into something.
A boulder.
rock,
A
and you
boulder
came
that
home.
was like...
I remember when you came home, you were like, Tobi, I crashed your car. And I was like, you crashed it? And I just said, as long as it's not me, I'm good. Like, I couldn't wait till Dad heard about it. I was like,
But then I was like, I also got you donuts. I don't think it was worth it, but at least
Yeah.
I was trying to do something good.
And then we
Yeah.
became friends when you went to college.
Yeah.
She used to think that I was like, okay, I did used to
was.
spy on her. We'd follow her and her boyfriend from high school around, and we had like a diary.
She
No,
changed
she
my
thinks
Facebook status.
I didn't do this.
His name was Brad, and this was when Facebook was the only thing out. So your status was very important.
No, it's very
There was no
important.
Twitter, there was no
Hijacking of
Instagram. So
statuses.
that was
Yeah.
like cyber terrorism. And she stole it and was like, Bradley, you said some gross things too.
I didn't do this,
Like,
and to
gross
this day,
things.
she doesn't believe me. As if I wouldn't admit it at this point. Like, what do I have to lose? She came home.
Zoom in.
Toni, what did you do? Like, swipes everything across, grabs her computer,
I didn't even know
and
about
is like,
this.
oh my God, my life. And I'm like, it was the one thing I actually didn't do, and I'm still getting blamed
Wait,
for
who
it.
did it?
I don't know who did it, but you had an enemy, and you didn't spend the time
didn't
trying to
have
find them.
enemies.
Because
Shout
you
out
focused
Brad.
on me. He was all right. I liked Geneva better as far as high school.
She did get us candy.
She got Cold Stone. She brought.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Gotta
There's a
have
Cold
it,
Stone
Let's
Cold
talk
Stone.
about this though. She worked at Giordano
Oh.
in used to get a free pizza.
This
Wow.
makes a lot of sense.
That was the
That
epitome.
changes everything. She was very beautiful, so I thought that was it. But
Should we play
I didn't know
Geneva's
she was
song
It was
over
Geneva.
this?
No, it was
Over-
Oh yeah, with the Geneva.
Toby wrote a song
With a
for
recorder.
this girl.
With a recorder.
It was fire.
I'm gonna give it to TMZ at the right moment.
was
After the
fire.
first Grammy, I'm gonna slide it to TMZ.
It
and they're
started
gonna
with a
release it.
voicemail that she left him. Hey, boo,
Like most
it's
songs,
me.
like most great
I'm
songs,
out
right?
here in Hawaii and I'm just thinking about you. Oh,
that's
I
good.
love you so.
I actually forgot.
Yeah,
what
I
it
know. I was like,
said.
those
was
are-
like,
I
damn,
know.
that's
I like
Anyway.
the song. And then Toby's like had these weird like love whispers throughout.
I'll be the recorder.
Yo, it's a fire beat. Though. You guys- Before the whole like recorder whistle
Was
flute
a
wave,
thing?
yeah,
This
I
was
was
this.
on that like way before that.
Yeah,
so.
high school.
But
did
then
that.
by the time I got to college, I think by that point we were all
We just
were
couldn't
all
share a
good.
bathroom.
Was that our problem?
We're like, we
Yeah,
have
your
too
problem was
much
sharing
of,
the
like, we
bathroom.
can't live in the same space.
Also, I feel like sisters aren't supposed to get along until like a certain point. You see in the movies and they get along and shit.
Oh, I
but,
remember
like,
I was like, I hate her. And then I was like, you know what would be cool though? Being close with my sister. And then I would extend an olive branch and she would like smack me in the face with it. And I'd be like,
Okay.
I hate you more
No.
than I hated you before.
we have a little cousin named Rero, and she's like 2 years younger than me. She's amazing. But Tomi would purposely like take
Rero
Rero
was
right in
nice.
front of me and be like, "Oh, I like you so much. I wish you were my sister. You are the best. You are the
See,
best."
I have always been a vengeful person.
Yes,
though.
exactly. And I was like, "Okay, Tomi,
On
I can play
brand.
this game."
Go back to the question. What's like the real dynamics today? The youngest yet the most responsible. She's the youngest, middle child, oldest, but like I'm the youngest.
I'm
And
mom.
She's mom still, but like she's
I'm the
She's like-
family therapist now, and I
Okay.
honestly should be billing for the
Probably
amount of
should.
time that I'm spending
I would have been billed.
mediating some either conflicts or just interpersonal, existential.
I called Toni
Sort of
last
crises.
month like, I'm having emotions.
And I was
He
like,
goes,
emotions.
So you just have to have them.
I
And
literally
was like,
said,
there's
it's
nothing
it's
you
okay.
can say to take them away.
And I'm like, no, this is just life.
And I was pretty upset.
And I drive them now. Like, whenever we're all together,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sort of
know,
like, okay,
I-
like, I'll take us wherever.
Do you know what's funny? Like before you could drive, all you want to do is like be able to drive. But then when you actually see what driving's about, you realize getting driven is the
Way
shit.
better. I love driving.
Yeah, some people love driving.
Fun fact, I used to say that I was driving to the high school so that you guys would let me take Toby's car. This is before I had my license. But I love adrenaline. Like, I love just doing bad things. So instead of going to high school, I would just drive 30 minutes one way and then 30 minutes back.
What a crazy thing to
For
say.
no reason. Because I just really
She's
wanted
like,
to be
I
like,
love adrenaline.
I loved it. And then
I like doing bad things.
true story. A week later, after doing this for like a month, Dad gets pulled over in that car because the stickers were expired. And I never did it again because I'm like, I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Well, always
and which
riding
a
dirty.
thing
My car is always riding.
I had done
I
that.
forgot that I ran your car over a boulder.
I remember. I would
Pulling
never
out
forget
of a
that.
Dunkin' Donuts.
One time I was going to our last like high school party and I backed out and hit Dad's car. Imagine hitting a car before a party. Like, okay, so I hit your car, but there's this party I'm still trying to get to. So like whatever we're dealing with. So we've all crashed.
We've all crashed. And now, as far as dynamics go, I would say two of the most important people. Very supportive.
Why are you talking like that?
Very.
I see them as different versions of myself.
Okay, what?
If I was a woman.
Because is that?
Yeah, I've always wanted like a brother just to see what he's like, because I know how I am. I'm just like, I want to see what another boy turns out
Don't
like.
tell them
But
that.
I know what they.
Is that,
like,
no, Mom.
they're like just different versions.
No.
of me.
Look at the weird eyes they're giving.
One more.
No.
One
No.
more.
We're done.
I'm the only one that
There's
has
too
been
much.
advocating against another child for like 6 years.
It almost seemed like it was
Listen,
going to be a thing.
When
at a
Mom
certain
broke
point.
the news about you, me and Mom didn't talk for 2 weeks.
What about me?
I would after there
Once
was there
one-
could be nothing worse than I was like bring him. At this point, let's see if we can get a boy. It wasn't a boy, but I
I'm
was
pretty
cool with you.
close.
I think the first day you came home, I had you like in the rocker, and I think I looked at Tomi like, because like you were my favorite. Like, I was just like, Tomi was evil though. No one.
Any
she's
picture
super
of her
nice,
from when she was younger, you can
but
tell
I
she's
used
evil.
to be scared because those evil kids in like movies. This one was really evil. The things you used to do to your friends and make your friends like. I used to be like, oh my God, we're gonna get in trouble. Like the cops are gonna come here and be like, your daughter did something to these little kids. Like, nah, like you used to be really bad. Forget it.
I don't think it was bad.
I used to say things. And there was nothing I could do because it was sweet old Tobi. There was nothing I could do.
She was like the favorite because she did the least wrong.
She just knew how
That
to
was
like
good.
play it. Okay. Now that we got dynamics over.
Yes, what's that one?
Creative collaboration. Like, what's the first creative collaboration?
No,
No,
just like
it's
let's
just
talk
anything.
about it.
This is a
How
creative
about we
This
talk
seems
about
like
the
a-
first creative collaboration?
Oh,
first,
that we
though?
did? Mom's 40th birthday song. Or no?
I was
Wait.
going to talk about how every family vacation, I used
Oh.
to bring a camera and I used to make them film videos.
That he
And
would
they
never put out.
I would never put them out. Like, I would be like, we have to get up at 6 a.m. and hit this sunrise, film this video. And I would like guilt trip them in. I would be like,
One
you
time,
guys-
no.
Tony can't be guilt tripped.
We were in the Bahamas. We were in the Bahamas,
We were
and
in the
I just
Bahamas.
wanted to chill. And Tobi goes, "No, we have to go catch this sunrise." I go, "I'm not waking up." He goes, "When I get famous, don't expect anything from me." And I go, "That's fine with me." And I did not go because I held my ground, unlike my sister who went and we
Toni
filmed
can't be guilt tripped.
these
She doesn't
elaborate
care. She
things.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, the best. This isn't a creative collaboration, but my favorite anti-collaboration was
Anti?
when Toni posted a picture from my mom. My mom got her
Oh my
MBA.
gosh.
And Tobi looked like he was dressed like a college professor.
He looked like Ted
corny.
Mosby.
He looked so corny.
From
So I didn't bring any clothes home. I had to rock my dad's clothes, and my
but
hair
he
was
didn't
wild.
look good in them. Like Dad looks good in them.
Yeah, they just don't fit me the same way they fit Dad.
so Tobi looked
I
bad.
look like a professor from the future.
But like from a youth church.
So anyway, I post this photo. It's racking up likes because like I
Raise
have
up.
I
It's
have
racking up
like
likes. Here we
a
go.
sentimental caption. My mom did it. She's amazing. Sibling,
Racking up likes.
whole family's here, racking up likes. We're all eating pizza. Tobi goes, "Take it offline." I go,
It was terrible.
"No,
It's still terrible.
it's still on." I mean, now we're just
It
drawing
turned
more
into a
attention to it.
screaming-
If you find,
a
you know
screaming
what? You might have to
match.
just like bring it up.
Bring it
during
up,
the
just
show,
to like just air it
doesn't
Yeah,
out.
matter.
just show it, and then like
I start crying, which was weird
Which
for
was amazing,
everyone.
'cause she was the one being
Oh.
like, "No,
You know-
Tobi,
okay,
I
you-
don't care."
You know, okay,
But then
so
she
like I
turned
said, she
it.
can't be guilt tripped into anything. She's her own person. You're not gonna like tell her.
And if you
Like
tell
the
her
more I
something,
told
the
her
more
to take it
yeah.
off, the more she wasn't going to.
yeah.
So she had won. I felt like I won when she started crying because I was like, oh, like you got emotions. You
But
feel it?
she won because then
She
you
won,
had
but
to
I
say
didn't-
sorry to her for posting an
But yeah,
ugly
but
picture
like-
of you and not taking it
but,
down.
but like at the end of the day, I was just like she felt like you know.
I feel
like I got her to like feel. I don't know how, but like she felt a way.
you were
and it
like,
brought
"Don't
her to
ever
tears.
ask me for anything. Don't ask me for a ride.
That's
don't
what
ask me
I always
for
say that
We
to
always
her.
just go
yeah,
back
you're
on
like,
it.
when I'm famous, don't
Don't
you?"
ask me for shit. Don't ask me for shit.
It never works because you guys always end up helping anyway. So it just sort. I mean, this is sort of a creative
Because we like
collab.
each other.
No, this is a creative collab. I'm trying to be very careful of being like, what kind of help do you want from me? Because my instinct,
For like this
Is-
show.
oh no, for literally anything,
Oh,
whether
for
it's like
like-
a logo or a song, it's like my instinct is like tear it apart and like analyze it and sharpen it till everything is the best thing ever. But sometimes you're at a point, as you all know, where it's like sometimes that's what you want, and then sometimes you're like, I'm beyond. You know, there's different kinds of ways
Feedback.
to help. Yeah, so that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm trying to do now is like not
Like,
just go with
I
my
think we
default.
collab on low key everything because like we're always like, yo, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Okay, how does this look? How does this?
Tobi will like send me a song. I'll be like, I like it, and then I mean I like it, or I'll be like, no, I don't like this, and then that's pretty much. I don't get much more than that, but it's either I fuck with
Man,
it.
I remember growing up, I would like play them songs
This is good.
and Tony's opinion on songs. Like, imagine playing someone a song. You know, you're like, hey, what do you think? And Tony's just like. Like, imagine creating something that didn't move someone in any way. They didn't feel anything. They basically said you suck. Like, in her own way, she would just be like, huh? And then she would go, like, back to playing whatever she liked. So, like, it scarred me for, like, a long time. I
But
used
then
to
you
not
know
be
you could
able to-
come to me and get honest results.
Yeah, that was the truth, though. But, like, it also helped you, you know, make better stuff. Because you're like, this shit sucks. This shit sucks.
Yeah.
The nice thing about creative collabing is you can get inside your own head a lot and like be looking at something for so long. And there was a point with like one of the episodes where I was pretty much editing for like 19 hours and I was like, Neil, you gotta watch this with me because like I
You
can't even
see it anymore.
I can't even see it from a critical lens because I'm like just looking at like that one cut that I did and like all that stuff and like I need it as a holistic you seeing this for the first time. So I feel like it's very nice to like send you guys stuff or like show it with someone else like in any way just because
Yeah.
you can get another eye, another view, like an outside
Especially all
perspective.
being creative in like ways that lend itself to everything, but in very specific ways. Like the ways I look at things are different than the way you look. You know, it's like I think it works pretty well. It's fun though. I'm excited to do more. I mean, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, well,
What?
this is like the first, like,
Yeah, this is the first like
Physical,
full
sit down,
manifestation, and it's
of,
very
like, a collaboration between us.
yeah.
so.
What's next?
I've got plans.
Coming to a theater near you.
Set to take over the world.
Gotta show this logo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. I like.
Mostly we
Shout-
just
who
gotta
got
keep
you
going
these?
until
Neil.
we can do like the
Neil, shout out
like
Neil.
the
These are fire.
Met Gala.
We'll be there. We'll be there one day.
I like doing the sip of like I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sip.
Oh, that's a good. That's
Right? Also, I got my sister this flower before the thing
Ooh.
started.
This one fell out. Freshman year of life.
What a timely topic.
Because I'm graduating tomorrow. Shout out, Stanny.
She about to come live with me, so
Oh,
all that
yeah.
like,
Jealous.
don't ask me for shit.
I asked for
She
big
asked me
shit.
for shit.
It still
So
worked
just
out.
to let y'all know how it worked, how everything worked out.
I mean, what was
I'm
your
not that
guys'
terrible
like?
person.
Because you had very different ones.
Yeah.
You
First-
want to go first?
First year out of college.
I'll go first. First year out of college was very interesting because I'm a very goal-oriented and driven person. And so I'm always like, if I'm something, it's like, okay, then you're going to get an A. If you're in this club, it's like, okay, and this year you're going to be president. Then you're going to, so I'm so used to being somewhere and then like plotting on how I'm going to rise to the
Vengeful.
top and get power
Vengeance
and
on these hoes
avenging my
forever?
way through the corporation.
December 3rd.
But when I got to my first job, which was like data-driven marketing, I think it was about the third day.
Are you gonna? You don't want to say where?
I mean, it doesn't matter, really.
Irrelevant.
I thought it was really cool when I would tell people, "Oh, my sister works at the
It
place-
sounded cool.
the people that brought you."
Thor. Or no, what was it?
No, Inception and like Interstellar.
Batman.
and
Oh,
that-
really?
Yeah.
I used Batman.
Okay,
Okay,
now
I
we're
worked
gonna
at
change-
Legendary Pictures.
Oh,
and
what
it
a
was
name drop.
Data.
Like I got you the name drop. And like,
Data-driven marketing, and I think though by like around the fourth day, I was like, wow, I don't want my manager's job. I was like, I don't want my boss's job, and I'd never been in a place where I didn't want to excel, which is a very nerdy thing to say.
it's good though. It's like the mindset of like not settling. Though.
Yeah, or being like, oh no, I definitely don't want to move up here.
Yeah.
And that was a funny feeling. But I think it was also African children are like brainwashed into being very respectful to anyone who's spent one more day on planet Earth. We're conditioned to be very respectful to our elders.
I'm the opposite.
And like when I got to a
reversed
point
psychology
of I
for
was
me.
acting like Toni towards them, I'd be like, you want me to do what? Why? I was like, wow. I'm being disrespectful to adults.
What were
That's
you
how much I
feeling?
hate it.
Like
It was crazy because it was like I was making good money. The work wasn't it was not stimulating. For some reason, it was like my soul was screaming. It wasn't like the situation was bad. I've had way worse jobs.
Whenever you're a creative person and you're put into an office 9 to 5 like box, it sucks you dry. So
It's
that's what,
funny because I used to be like, when I was seeing you going through that, I was like, oh, I'm so glad. I used to literally say, I'm so glad I'm not creative. So I won't be miserable at a
thought
9
you
to
weren't
5. I felt saved. And so then when I got there, I was like, what's this bullshit? Because it wasn't like an actually bad situation. But yeah, my soul couldn't handle it. So I was like, it was wild.
and I feel like when it's draining in that way, because that was for me this summer, like I was so drained from the job and just like the unenjoyment of it that like it was hard for me to enjoy things outside of it because I had to take everything that I had to get me through the day. And mine wasn't 9 to 5. It was like it was longer than that, but still it just became a thing where like there was no time for me to do what I actually wanted to do on the side because I just wanted to sleep. Like just like be literally like horizontal and just like be like done
No, I
with
thought you were
like
gonna say literally just be a whore, and I was like, wow.
okay, chill. I was
Baby
going close
sister.
breakup, but still,
Wait a minute.
different. But like, for me, it was just like, like I'm in basically no school right now because I know school for me is draining. I don't like school, and I wanted to do this, so I took 6 units and just shifted all my priorities to being able to have enough time to
Smart.
creatively.
Honestly, though, that's what you do.
Smart.
Like, even me going for my dreams wasn't out of believing in myself. It was like my hatred of where I was
Yes, that's
became greater than my fear of failure.
Yes.
that was
And-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You haven't even graduated. What could you fail at?
No, but when you put yourself out there, especially creatively,
Okay, no, I get it.
you open
Tony's
yourself
very
up.
ahead. I take myself back for that one.
You open yourself up to like way more criticism. Like
Yeah.
people can just say, "Oh wow, they're not funny."
Brene
oh, wow.
Brown calls it living life in the arena from a Theodore Roosevelt quote.
Yeah.
It's like the adoration does not go to the critic, it goes to the person who's actually in the arena, covered with like blood and sweat and dirt. And she calls that like if you are living a life, a big life, a life that means you're putting your whole heart in how you love and how you live, then she's like you will fail. You will experience heartbreak, you will experience ridicule, you will experience all these things, but you will also experience all the best parts of life because you're really doing that. She goes, on the other hand, you can be in like the nosebleed seats, and she goes like, that's why I don't take criticism from anyone who's not in the arena. She goes, I'll take feedback, But she goes, but if you're sitting all there back safely from your computer being
Yeah.
like, you suck, go kill yourself, she's like, I don't care about you. She goes, I'll talk to the people who are actually out there, putting themselves
Actually-
out there to be ridiculed.
Actually,
Because they
Yeah.
know what
haters,
that
you
is like.
actually want haters. To
Do you want? I talked about it on a previous episode. I'm
No,
like, I
you
probably
need-
have 3 enemies on this campus, and I bet that they watch the show just to hate view it. And Cardi B says hate views are still views,
No,
and
that's
still
beautiful.
streams, and still
Remember,
listens.
people used to buy JK, like Harry Potter, out of religious anger? And they would buy hundreds of copies and then they would burn them and film it. And I was like, you still, that's a sale. I was
It's
like,
like
she's
when
still getting
Colin
royalties.
Kaepernick did the Nike ad, and
And
everyone was
people
just burning. You're like,
I was like,
you already bought these
must-
shoes.
Like, you haven't,
Like,
I was like,
if-
you're just, you can't give it back.
If you're only receiving love for your art,
Yeah.
then it's not out there.
yeah.
When it gets out in the real world, when you get to the haters, that's when you can
That's
actually start
real.
to celebrate. I would like post music or post videos, and I would see like, okay, like everyone who's seen this kind of likes this.
Yeah.
And I would get upset. I would tell my manager, I'd be like, yo, we're not doing enough. It's not out there because
Yeah,
we're not
people
getting
are not
the
like
hate.
it.
negative.
When I start seeing hateful comments, I used to cheer. I used to be like, yes, like heat me, like come on,
Honestly,
like get
I
me.
had a night. It's funny because like being in the public and stuff, like I've been okay with things. I try to be in a place where I don't give anything to the good or the bad,
Yeah.
even though it's mostly good, because it's like you can't be built up.
Even
or
though it's
brought
mostly good?
down. I mean. But the first time I saw a mean comment on one of your things, I literally had a stress nightmare that night that people were chasing you and I was trying to like save you. And it was just from seeing one comment and being so.
Yeah.
you know-
Someone commented on one of the episodes. They were like, "This is good, but I think the video quality wasn't as good as the other ones." And I literally was like, "What the?" I was like, it was my first like negative. I was like, "Who is this person? What do they know? What are your
It sticks
credentials?"
out.
Like,
Yeah,
and
it sticks out like a sore
then-
thumb, but
then I was like, "Wait,
also-
why do I like?
Yeah.
Why do I
Yeah.
care?" Like,
No,
and
it's
it
good. It's
wasn't even
good
a
to-
critic.
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, you take the negativity and you could like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's actually why I can't do reviews, because I was like, if you don't give me 5 stars, then someone gave me like 4.5 stars, said one negative thing, and I was just like, this horseshit. But it's not because I don't
I've
like
seen it,
criticism. It's because it's like, it's just what it does to me, and it's about when criticism is good. There's things I can take from the first book and apply to the rest of my future writing, but then there's things I can't. So it's like, I'm very open to it, but I'm very also aggressive about this is when you're gonna rip this apart. And then it's out, it's done, it's time to be the next thing.
Also, depending on how you feel about your work,
Mm-hmm.
because you're a creator, so you create the art, then there's people that just intake the art and rate it.
Yeah.
So think about that dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, their job is to like look at what you did.
Have done.
You had to like
yeah.
get out of you, and they just give it a number. So it's like, if you love what you did, you will reach it. It could be like 7 out of 10. You'd be like, you just like.
Well, I think
interesting
it
take,
also
you know?
became angry, or like in that positive way of being like, no, I know I did my thing.
Yeah,
I'm in
you
this
don't-
weird
Yeah, you don't have to like. You're not
place
worried.
of like trying to reclaim
Yeah,
my.
you're not
'cause
worried.
Getting all this stuff young, and I think as like a woman and as a black woman, as a young person, I was like, oh, I have to carry a certain attitude, or people are gonna be really angry.
Mhm.
And over the process, I sort of got over. It's like, no, I'm here. I did it. Or if someone says something, it's like, cool. I used to be like, oh, well, thank you so much. And, I was like, no, like, yes.
You became more genuine. You stopped putting on like, "Oh yeah."
Oh,
like,
yeah. I was like, I
yeah.
stopped trying to, like, make myself smaller or
Well,
thing. Or
it's
be
like what
oh,
people say
did
where,
I
like,
do that? It's
Beyonce
like-
started swearing like 4 years ago. Like before that, she like really like
yeah.
went around and tried to be this like, okay, I'm not gonna like rustle any feathers, like whatever. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
like
no, Russell
this like
Feathers.
thing. And then she was like, no, fuck it, formation. I'm going Super
Yeah.
Bowl. I'm like going
Everyone
and like she
can't
went.
love you.
Okay, yeah, and
Once
it's
you realize
yeah.
you can't love you,
And that you shouldn't be someone to like you shouldn't walk the
shouldn't,
middle
yeah.
ground.
If
You
you're
should just
catering
go
to everyone,
there
you're catering to
to
no
no
one.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm just,
But then when you
put that out
cater
there.
really to yourself, like you're catering to a part of you that is like so human, and that's what makes it so universal.
Yeah.
Like it's like the people we love the most are the people who are so themselves that
Yeah.
we feel ourselves more.
Like you said, when you cater to yourself, you put yourself out there. You attract the people who like think like you, and like
Oh,
you're their
yeah.
leader. You're their like, they're like, oh, this is how I believe
Yeah.
in like the way he or she is moving, or the way what they're saying, or what they're doing,
Yeah.
and how they're carrying
That's
themselves.
how I feel about Lizzo.
That's what. Yeah, I was just saying, like you just like.
Yeah, you're
You
like,
don't have
let's
to worry
get
about
in line.
being somebody.
Let's go
There's
to the
literally
yeah.
so many people on this earth that if you are yourself and you put yourself out there, there's gonna be a line of people who are like, oh,
Wait,
I'm
yeah.
just like you. or
I
think
actually
just
had
like
that with a recent romantic situation where
you. Romantic.
Stop. But he commented,
Novel?
he's like, you were so weird. He was like, you were so aggressively yourself. I felt like I could be myself in a way that was very unnormal to me. And I was like, there's really no point. Because it was like, if you don't vibe as
Like in the
yourself.
bedroom,
Yeah.
or-
No.
I'm just
Stop.
trying to get context.
Stop.
I'm trying to
Stop
get
it.
context.
You're
I think
trying
she's
to
talking
stir
about
up
like
things.
in general.
You're trying to stir up.
There's no
shit.
point. There's no point
Stop
to fake
it.
being someone else because
Thank you.
you're not
Bring it
going to be
back.
dating someone like you're not going to be
Yeah,
this
it's
fake
like, why would
person
you
dating
be
this
someone?
person.
Or honestly, I was talking to my friend because she was helping me set something up, and I was like, oh, should I not put like I went to Harvard on my profile? I feel like that. And she goes, if they can't even read it, then what are they gonna do in person? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're right. It's about filtering. You know when you do advanced filters in like YouTube
They're not going to
search
respond. No one's there.
or Excel?
Yeah.
Maybe someone's there.
Maybe they are.
If
Like,
I was watching this, when I watch this, I'm gonna
Hey,
be like, I know what you're talking
are
about.
y'all there?
But yeah.
What?
So, freshman year of life.
Yeah, what?
Okay,
Well, yeah,
to
you didn't really go.
I'm gonna try to just go really fast. I was playing baseball. So
Used to be in the minor
But
leagues.
talk about what it felt like. Talk about
that's the whole. I was playing baseball, so it's like I wasn't. My freshman year of life was still pursuing this dream and
Okay, talk about pivoting from baseball to music. I think
pivoting
that's
from
really
baseball
important.
to music. Always did music in the background. So freshman year of life, I was playing baseball, but always did music to the point where like staying up till 6 a.m. on a game day, which is probably not the best thing. But hey,
You put your glasses
YOLO.
back on.
yeah, but they're clear though. You can y'all can
Yeah,
see
you
mine.
can see
I
his
just
eyes.
saw it.
Yeah. So
Can
I
I, put
mean,
my glasses back?
no, they're like dark.
You guys both said no. Same
we
intonation,
both
same.
know.
I was like,
But
this is middle
yeah,
child.
I told this to Mish yesterday. I said, "Yo, in my final college game, I hit a home run, and in my final professional game, I hit a home run. I got hurt in my final game, but I was able to leave in a way where I was just like, you know what?
Triumphant.
Maybe the thing you were chasing so much isn't it, and the thing you're actually like you do, regardless of whatever's going on.
Which
like,
was music.
if I was putting music out, whether I was putting it out or not, I was making it. Whether she was putting a book out or not, she was always
People
writing.
always ask, "Oh, would you write if someone?" And I
Whether-
was just like, "I
yeah.
did that my whole life."
And she definitely wasn't. Whether
No.
you were putting videos out like this, what you're doing now.
Smoking.
Or that video you
always-
made
I've
about
always
your
been
friend.
smoking.
No, you've always been making like you got to show them the most,
I know.
but
God.
wait,
Hey, guys.
wait till we build up
Yeah.
a little bit. What you were always doing is what you were meant to do. So like I had a dream of doing both, and I was really passionate about sports, and I still miss it. But at the end of the day, I was able to walk away from that and be like, okay, let me actually give music a shot. Not knowing what that process would be like, but it felt like for once in my life I controlled my own destiny. And to be honest, I did. Even if
You feel
even if
very
for, like, a
the
couple
last
years-
Airbender.
a couple
going
years,
for what
a
you
couple
want.
years I didn't.
It wasn't.
the-
You were Ubering.
Yeah.
You were doing other things so that
even
you could
before
do this
that,
thing.
going back home, because I was only making $600 a month playing baseball. So I was getting paid, but it's just like, okay, you gotta be at home.
Yeah.
I'm still like trying the music thing, and then I'm like, okay, gotta work now. So I'm working for the hospice, and that was a time period where I was like, oh wow, I have to figure something out. The whole like after
Freshman year
school
of
life
life,
Yeah.
is about you're probably doing something you don't really want to do, but what are you doing with your other time?
To get to,
To
where,
get
or
to
to
where you
figure
wanna be.
out what you. I think
So,
that's
yeah.
the thing.
I mean, for me, like I'm about to go to LA. I'm doing entertainment consulting.
But the fact that she started this, she's not gonna blow her own horn. It's almost
I will.
offensive. Okay, she will blow her own horn.
She will.
But it's literally almost offensive because it's like, what's the artist that was on the show too? Like his music. Baron. It was the same.
Some Kuma.
To already know what you want to do is amazing. To have started something for it is amazing, but to have started something that's actually a good premise and execution. Because with you
Geneva's song wasn't
as
good.
you-
Some of your shit wasn't good. And
No, but I'm not
therefore-
talking
Yeah,
about
man.
good. I'm talking about when an artist finds their voice.
So it's like I was dropping music
Yeah.
all for years,
And it was always
but it wasn't
sounding good.
until
Yeah.
last year where I said, okay, I'm gonna start.
Bitch,
And
I'm
I
Tobi
started,
Lou.
and
Yeah.
there you go, right? But like for you to have started this
Yes.
now,
That is
that's
so
what's
you.
important. And it's like good,
And it's
you know,
good. That's
you
the
know.
like my first stories, the first book I tried to get published took me 4.5 years, over 60 rejections from agents.
Oh,
and-
I fucked with it. The Keepers was good.
no, I like it, and I understand why I couldn't, but it was just like, even to have a good idea is crazy to me. But it is about doing this. The most inspiring thing to me is when you told your job, you're like, oh yeah, I have a talk show called Weed, Wine, and Wheat Thins, and I was like, wow, it was amazing.
Like even in my last round interview, I was like, I want to be a talk show host, and they're like, we work for the SNL app, but we're not on SNL. And I thought that's close enough. And like, I've been like very transparent to them that like my dream is to be in the creative space. And like, this is more business tech consulting, not in that space,
It's also
etc.
good skills too.
Yeah, I mean,
like, there's so many things I want to say to people who want to do creative things. And like the first thing is just be honest about your dream and believe you can do it. But the second thing is like learn about business, because this stuff is a business. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to make money. And it's like, why? Why? Are you lying? Or you don't? It's just like learn about it because it's important. Even Tobi, like when he first went out to LA, was offered a very stupid deal, but it's like if he didn't know enough about business or to know enough about what he could be valued, I don't know, you probably wouldn't be you would be locked up for like 5 albums. You know, I'm always telling you to get a rag.
I had one. I forgot it. It was a lot of a busy day.
Yeah, busy.
You forget it every
she's
episode.
Graduating.
What?
So?
I got it the last 2 episodes.
Okay.
It was 104 degrees.
Why is this
I'm on
place on the
103.
equator?
No.
Why is it so hot?
Mom, is this Gucci?
Wait, come in, you guys.
Nice. I want to say one thing to
Yeah.
creatives. I think on this planet, 90% of humans don't go for what they actually.
It's probably
wanna
90,
do.
like 5%.
I was being like really nice.
Yeah.
So if you are a creative and you're in that 10%, I think you have to look at yourself a little bit different and treat yourself like, yo, I'm actually going for this. I'm actually doing this. And if you have that perspective of it, it sets you apart because like the shit's scary. And that's why people don't do it. They're afraid to fail. They're afraid, there's so many reasons why not to do something.
What are you guys doing? I told them to come in.
It's just like, yo, like if you're in that 10%, no matter what stage you're at,
Yeah.
and you're going for it,
In any form.
look at yourself different every day in the
Yeah.
mirror. You already know, like, you're not among the 90-95% who are just like going about the mundane of what they don't really want to do. You're doing it. You're on a different path. When you walk those streets, whether you're making it or not, you're on a different path. You're in a different movie. You're like, yo, your movie's a little bit more interesting because shit might not work out. I watch movies and I tend to rate them on how well they made me feel at the end. Like, did everything just work out, or was it like, yo, this shit didn't work out?
Yeah.
That's why I started watching Game of Thrones. And I was like, damn, they really get you with the shit.
It's funny.
Didn't
That's
work
the
out
only. As someone
type
who
shit.
didn't watch Game of, because someone's
Yeah.
like, and I was like, well, I always want to watch what's popular so I can analyze as a writer. But I was like, it was very clear that, and everyone's comment was like, oh, they really kill people, like in real.
Because you're in the
Yeah.
movie that shit might not work out,
Yeah.
and like even when it doesn't work out, it's like how you react to it not
Yeah.
working out. Because
Yeah.
only one yes, like I said, like when you wrote that book, The Keepers, you got rejected. I tell everyone, you got rejected by 60 agents. 60 people said no, and like how do you react to that? You're at a job at Legendary, you can be like, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to just tuck it away. Literally, 60 people said no.
No.
That's a lot.
No.
I'm
No.
good. I'm good.
No.
Keep it. No.
No.
Cool.
No.
Like 60. Like so.
60.
That's how I want to reject people.
Yeah.
No.
Like, get it out! Stop! Like 60 agents burned it. Like they were like, burn it. Everything is about how you react to that because people say it, but it literally takes.
And then you wrote another
It
one.
was the switch too, because when I was in a place of like I hated my first job. I hated it. And so I was working on this book, The Keepers, from like 6 p.m. First 6 p.m. to 8, then 6 to 10, then like 6 to midnight for like 6 months. And I was so desperate for someone to tell me that I could do that during the daytime. And so when I would get close to a yes, I'd be like the happiest person. When they said no, it'd be like wipe everything off the table, burn, like wear black, and be like, don't ask me to work today because I've had a hard day.
Yeah.
And it's 9 a.m. and,
Chill.
But then it was like, that's how it was
She's
though.
going through it.
I know. I'm like, chill.
But then once I switched to not looking for someone else to give me permission, I wanted someone to say it so I could then justify quitting my job. I was like, how can you justify quitting a job where you're making a lot of money and not that much is asked of you when you have time to do this stuff? So I wanted to be like, well, I have an agent who believes in me, therefore I can believe in myself. And once I switched to like, no, I'm going to believe in myself, I was then able to look with the perspective and see how close I got to a yes, knowing nothing. And so then I was able to be like, oh, you can do this.
It's always little nibbles and shit like that, but like
you get guided.
But most
like
people,
to
it's like
respond
they
to that,
yeah.
to the rejection and be like,
use it.
I'm going to even go harder now.
We'll be like,
Or
oh, now
go,
I have feedback. I know what I'm doing. Because before that, I had never finished a book. I never edited a book. I never tried to publish a book.
Finishing something is a lot.
So being like, I literally know how to do this now.
I know so many creatives who have shit, and the fear of rejection or the fear of like putting something out and no one's seeing it, which I know is it's really like, you know, big, but literally what you do now, like you started this, right?
Yeah.
You started this year. So a year from now, you'll be a year into this process, a year further down the line, a year's worth of gathering viewers. So when you're putting out an episode in June of 2020, your little base is going to be built to the point where it's like, oh, if you would have waited till June 2020, you would have been starting, you know?
Yeah, then you're
Everyone's
starting from
afraid to start.
That's what I say.
That's
I was
what I
like,
hate, yeah.
Simone Biles. I was like, she started when she was 6. I was like, Chance put out I was like, yeah, he gets 3 Grammys at 23, but he put out his first mixtape at 17.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
You
all
gotta
these
start.
people, it's just like, it's not, they don't achieve it faster. I was like, they just start putting themselves out there earlier in life than most. Because for me, everyone's like, overnight success, 23, but I was like, well, no, I was putting myself out there for 4.5 years on something that just got rejected. And I was like, and that's just earlier than people start.
Yeah.
If I hadn't done that, it wasn't about me having the idea for a CBB. I couldn't execute without that 4.5 years plus the whole 10 years before that of writing a bunch of stories and fan fiction and things like that. So I'm always like, especially because I talk to kids a lot and I go into schools, and I was like, yo, if you know what you want, start now.
You
I was
just
like,
keep getting
before you
better.
have to pay
Just
bills.
start.
You never,
You know, but I was
yeah.
like, literally just start. And I was like, and if you're past that point, literally still start. Like, Beryl Wang was at Vogue for 17 years. Someone fact check that, because I heard it on the bold type, but I don't think they would lie.
I just responded to this.
Amazing that we finished that. I've never finished a bottle on the show.
Hey,
Oh.
did we even
Mom and dad come in there. Also, support system. Like, they did it for me, but they did it for them. Does that make sense? Okay, let me try that again. I didn't even smoke this episode.
Makes perfect sense.
You
got even.
Okay, you went to LA and we were all like, oh, fuck, what is he doing? Like, mom's like, no, please get a real job. No, but they like let you do it. You
Yeah.
quit your job to write. They were like, oh, please don't just
I know,
write.
I
but,
could
like,
tell because I was like, I was supposed to have
You know
like
what? Yeah.
health insurance.
Okay, wait, let me even say something about that. It's funny because, like, me going to LA, I remember the point where, like, okay, me working at the hospital wasn't working out. And, like, I had to do something, right? I was at that point, right?
Yeah.
And they forced it, which was good. Because
Yeah.
I would have just been playing it safe, like, okay, let me just keep trying from here. But it was either, like, go to New York or go back to school, which is like, no. They've taken enough.
You had 2 months to figure it out, and then you came back after 2 months and said, "No, I'm not gonna do hospice."
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
You
school.
took 2 months to figure out you weren't going to do hospice.
Fine.
No, just like, what am I gonna
Table.
actually do?
Oh,
Because it's
okay.
like, go back to school, like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
move
yeah.
downtown, like, go get another job, like, go
Yeah.
be a waiter somewhere, like, because what was the option? And then it was just like, okay, I'm gonna go to LA.
Even if I have to wait till
Yeah, I said, even if I have to wait tables, like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Luckily, like, you know,
You Ubered.
Uber was around and I was
Yeah.
just Ubering my ass off for a while. But the thing is, as like, you know, Africans and the whole system of like how we believe, like, you know, do this, do that, go to college, get this job, you know,
Yeah.
immigrants are like brought up a lot different than like just Americans because they have to do so much more. Like my parents have to do so much more to get to this country to succeed. My dad was a doctor in Nigeria, came here, and they don't recognize your degree. Like he went to med school already.
Which is funny because
So
bodies are the same, but imagine being
Bodies
like,
are
oh,
the
a
same, but like,
Nigerian
oh, no,
body
yeah,
is
you
not
can't
the
do that.
same.
So imagine having you go into med school and then say, oh no, you gotta do that again. So you come here. You do
But
it-
the other thing, the nuance of that is not even you got to go to it again. It's like you have to go to it again, but the tests you have to take these tests. They're really expensive, but you can't even just take them all at once. You have to take one test and then you can take another in a year.
And then my mom working at McDonald's, working at the toll booth, you know, stuff like that. Immigrants have to do a lot more to get back to what they'd even deserve.
Yeah,
You
or what
know,
they'd even already earned. in
What
a
they've already did.
very-
So it's
yeah.
like their outlook at life is like, we did so much to get here, so don't go squander that shit. So like,
with your dreams.
yeah, so like,
and you guys
That's
doing
very
this.
white to
yeah.
me.
So like when she had the choice to quit her job, I said, quit that shit. Like you've done, like, listen, you went to Harvard, like this one's in Stanford, like you
Fam,
do something,
you,
like you did, like come on. Yo, shout out to Rattlers though. All right, any Rattlers watching, like, don't, you good? We good. We good.
you good.
But I was like, yo, yeah, quit your job. Like, do something. Like, do something you want to do. For me, it was like I had already spent time chasing one dream,
Yeah.
so it looks really weird when, you know, your backup, your B plan. I'm gonna use the quotes.
Yeah.
Your plan B was like, okay, if I can't be a professional baseball player, I guess I'll just be an artist. You know, you can't tell that to anyone. Like,
You've already
you can't
done
even tell
it.
them.
Yeah.
You just look stupid at that point.
Yeah.
By doing the 9-to-5 life, I realized I would die if I had to do it. So there was no choice.
Yeah.
There was like, oh, okay.
One quick thing I'll add is I did see a big difference between people who did start with a traditional job and then got to the point of I'm chasing my dreams than the people who
Like
just
you.
left college and chased their dreams.
Like you.
Because you don't understand until literally someone else is in control of your time
Yeah.
that you don't value time and I did
Yeah,
see
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a very big
It does
shift
help
between
to start
people
there and
who
I
had
have
more
mixed feelings
time.
about college because
Yeah.
like it's the greatest place, but also like they waste your time like for years when you could be doing
And you paid to
what
do
you
homework.
yeah it's like you could be doing what you want to do.
If I didn't have homework, I could have been doing this stuff a long time ago. Because like I only
Well,
had
no,
energy.
I love learning. I hate homework, and I was always like, "Why am I paying to do homework?" I was like, "If I'm paying, I should have the option to say, actually, I got it in
learning,
class."
But if
No,
you
didn't
think
pay.
about it,
We paid.
you've been learning for so long. Like unless you want to be like a doctor,
Yeah.
or like you're like
Yeah,
you're
no,
getting
yeah,
technical,
yeah.
You just start rehashing things like you've already learned. It's like so what we're still learning. Okay, let's
Or
continue
especially when the
learning
learning
about
is
this part.
writing about a book that was written 100 years ago, and it's like, why? As a writer, I was just like, I know the author didn't care about this. I know it. Why are we doing it?
Yeah, I'm like, what is
You
this?
see, we fish about
Yeah,
it.
right. I'm like, this is drunk. Okay, we've been here for a long, long time. I have an improv show in 10 minutes, which I will be late for, so we're going to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, the improv is gonna be fire.
Yes, so thank you for tuning into this
I
episode.
got a new Gucci scarf.
Come back later for some more fun, a little cheers, some family fun.
Hey, shout out my bro Justin Timberlake who gave me this. I've been spreading that story.
It's not true at
He
all.
didn't give it to me. He gave it to his cousin's niece, who I Ubered her grandma. On a
Okay,
Tuesday.
just get it. It sounds like a fake
So-
story. Bye-bye.
Oh, we won. We
Bye.
WW.
Oh, bottle going.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
But that's a wrap.
Thank you.
Yay, Punya!
Okay, you guys are so drunk. Yay. Sorry, that was literally an hour.
Oh, I wish you were dressed like this the entire
Yeah.
time. You look incredible. You look incredible.
Let's reshoot it. Recut.
You look amazing.
This is how I'm going out today.
Died. Hi.
I gotta say.
I'm going to be there in 15 minutes. I just finished the episode, so
So we just finished
I
shooting.
don't know what to do about that. If you guys can just start without me, I know that's not a